Welcome everyone to a quick discussions around what has happened in the month of April based on the statistics for the market. So I'll dive into the stats. First, we're going to go over the Metro Vancouver. Then we're going to go into Coquitlam and Port Moody area to give an understanding of what is the market at. So let's dive into it. I will dive into 5 elements of the statistics very briefly. The first ratio or statistics that we can actually look into is I always scroll down and look at this nice colorful chart. There is few elements that if somebody is to look into this chart, what information they can get. So this is called the sales to active ratio, meaning how much based on each product. So there's 3 products, townhouse, condo, and detached. Based on each of these products, how is the market doing and where do they fall? Starting, let's say, townhouses, it says at 16%. So a sales to active, meaning if we were to take 100 townhouses, means in April, 16 of those townhouses were sold. And that means this product is in the balance sector. Condos, 15% and detached, 11%, making that into the buyer's market. This is the most important information whenever we look at the monthly stats. Now we scroll back to the Metro Vancouver's few other elements. We're going to look into active listings. So how was the supply of homes that indicates the market? So if we were to first look at detached homes, year over year, 3.7% less sellers in the market. Last year, close to 6,200 listing. This year, 5965. So less inventory. And then we look at right on the bottom, the sales, how much of this has been sold from the active listing. We do see a good promising number of 15%, which means for a detached homeowner, this is a bit of a good sign. Yeah, we will see over the next couple of months if this is going to be sustainable. And pricing. So year over year, Metro Vancouver detached home has adjusted 8.3%, meaning that last year, detached on average was 2 million, and now it's around 1,840. Next up is condos, and now we can see that the same element, what's happening for owners of condos, the inventory has gone down, yet it's quite a lot of healthy numbers for condos. Sales have decreased 10.3%, so I would indicate that this translation is there's not a lot of high demand for condos based on a lot of inventory in the market. And we look at the benchmark pricing. So condos in Metro Vancouver has adjusted 8% from 762 to 703,000. Now, townhouses is a little bit different. Whenever we look at townhouses, they're a resilient product. They're not caught like condos and detached. They're kind of like a middle ground. Listings, a little bit more, 5% increase as if it's a promising area. And I'll also indicate that most of these townhouse owners are also taking advantage of detached being a buyer sector to upgrade. And obviously, there's a good spread of discount between the price adjustments that has occurred between detached homes and townhouses. So sales reduced by about 5.4%. And average price, you can see it's not a very highly adjusted price in townhouses based on supply and demand, just adjusted about 5.1%. Now let's dive into the area where I do most of the business in the Tri-Cities market. Coquitlam. Townhouses in Coquitlam is doing well, 22.5%. Condos at 14.8% and detached 10.3%. So detached is a full buyer's market, kind of like a mirror of Metro Vancouver. Detached listings decreased 10% and sales increased 6.5%, and reflecting the Metro Vancouver adjustment of about 8%. So average detached prices have adjusted. Condos, there's more inventory that increased 4.1% from last year, meaning more and more inventory is coming to the market. But good news is if the prices have adjusted, I've seen prices adjusting as like 2018 prices. So this month, condos had a very good sale, about increase of 20% in Coquitlam. And average price, 8.5% adjusted. So it's a good first-time home buyer category. And townhouses, we look at the inventory have actually reduced in Coquitlam by about 15%. Sales also reflects that, quite a less number of demand for townhouses in Coquitlam. And adjustment, 6%. So not a big difference in terms of the townhouses for Coquitlam owners. And our neighboring city, Port Moody, And when we look at the sales to active ratio, Port Moody, fairly, because it's a very boutique city, has done a good amount on townhouse, 24%, better than Coquitlam, but Detached is similar in the buyer sector. And listings, we can see that there is more inventory of Detached year over year, 12% more. So more sellers are participating in the market. Increase of sales of 23.1%. When we look into the condos, a 2% increase, 152 from 149, not a significant difference, but sales increased pretty well. Again, first-time buyers are going to enjoy the purchases of these condos. And prices, moderate, 4.1% adjustment in the overall market. And townhouses, a very small number of transactions in this corridor. There is less people. In fact, the reduction of listing was 15.1%. Sales, on the other hand, also decreased 15% because there's not a lot of inventory and demand in this category, at least showing the reflection of the stats. And small adjustment of 5.6% compared to the overall market in Port Moody. So this is very quick update on the market. I will put in a detailed blog on the website. You can also go and review the detail, and an extensive of the PDF reports will also be there. And if you had any questions and discussions, I'm just a virtual call away. Click on the link and we can book a time. Until the next update, have yourself a phenomenal and fantastic day.